Hey guys, thank you very much for joining again and welcome to the new topic today. And the topic today will be about the 90 days, the visa-free stay, which some nationalities have, which means that you can come here for 90 days without any visa required. I'll cover all the rules related to that, so stick with me for that. And the second topic of today will be submitting your application at some Czech embassy, because generally if you're non-EU citizen and you want to apply for whatever type of visa, you need to do it through a Czech embassy, and there are some rules for that, like in what kind of embassies, in country of your origin or somewhere else. So I'll cover these rules as well. Hi Agnello, hi mate. Thank you very much for joining again. I appreciate you coming back here every time. And guys, just for you to know, I'm live on 3 platforms right now, on YouTube, Facebook, and TikTok. So if you see me like looking maybe somewhere else than to the camera, it's because I'm looking to a different camera right now. I try to put them all like to the same place, but still there is a bit of the difference. Okay, so let's jump right into the first topic, which is the 90 days visa-free stay. In general, if you are a non-EU citizen and you want to come to the Czech Republic, you always need to have some kind of visa. Let's say an example, you're an Indian citizen. So even if you want to come to the Czech Republic for one day to watch like a concert or to to get some medical treatment or something, just for one day, you always need to have a short-term visa. But there are some, and this applies to most nationalities in the world. But there are some nationalities which don't require visa for tourist stays for up to 90 days. And I will explain all the rules about these 90 days and how it works and how it's counted, and if there are any bridging visas you can get if you want to stay longer, and how it all works. I'll get to it in a second. Let's just now go through the list of countries which have this exception. So now it will be a bit long list because it's like 40, 50 different countries. So I'll read all of them. So if you don't like hearing list of countries, you can leave now and come back in 1 minute. But if you're interested in that, because there are some interesting countries, in general, these are countries which are safe or which the Czech Republic wants to have good relationship with or have some agreements. But there are some interesting countries as well. So stick with me for this. So let's go through the list of countries whose citizens can come to the Schengen space without any visa required for up to 90 days. Let's go through that now. Albania, that only applies if you have a biometric passport though. Andorra, Antigua and Barbuda, Argentina, Australia, Bahamas, Barbados, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Brazil, Brunei, Dominica, Grenada, Georgia, Guatemala, Honduras, Chile, Montenegro, Israel, Japan, South Korea, Canada, Kiribati, Colombia, Costa Rica, Malaysia, Marshall Islands, Mauritius, Mexico, Micronesia, Moldavia, Nicaragua, Monaco, New Zealand, Palau, Panama, Paraguay, Peru, Salvador, Samoa, San Marino, Northern Macedonia, Seychelles, Singapore, United Arab Emirates, United States of America, Serbia, St. Lucia, St. Christophe and Nevis, St. Vincent and Grenadines, and then Solomon Islands, Taiwan, conditions apply, Tonga, Trinidad and Tobago, Tuvalu, Ukraine, Uruguay, Vanuatu, Vatican, Great Britain, Venezuela, and East Timor. So that was a list of countries whose citizens are allowed to come to Schengen space with no visa required for up to 90 days if the purpose of their stay is tourism. So if you're American, you can come to Schengen space for 90 days. You can travel, you can do whatever you want here. And then after the 90 days, you can either leave or you can apply for a visa. I'll cover that right now. Just one more note to the list of countries I went through. some of them, or to some nationalities, this visa-free stay only applies in case you have a biometric passport. So that's, for example, Bosnia-Herzegovina, Georgia, Montenegro, Ukraine, Northern Macedonia, Moldova, sorry, and that's it. So only if you have the biometric passport, you can use the 90 days visa-free stay. If you don't have the biometric passport, if you have the older version, then unfortunately it doesn't apply to you. So you should exchange the passport as soon as you can. And now how it works with the 90 days. Yeah, love your videos, great stuff. Thank you very much. Hi Kamal, thank you for joining. Trinity following, thank you very much. Thank you. Liam Kieno, Sirjan, good evening to you as well, guys. Thank you very much for joining all the time. I really appreciate it, and I'm happy I provide valuable content. So let's get to it today as well. So how it works with the 90 days. Generally, it is, you can spend here, if you're from non-EU countries and you're on the list of these countries whose citizen can stay here for up to 90 days with no visa required, it works the way that you can always spend here 90 days in the last 180. So like, okay, how it works in real life. If you're an American, Canadian, Mexican, or one of this list of countries I went through, you don't need any visa to come to Europe. So basically to Schengen space. So you basically just land the plane in the US, you fly to wherever, France or wherever it flies, and just on the border, the border police gives you a stamp with the date, and from that date, the 90 days start counting. So you can stay here for up to 90 days, and once the 90 days are up, you have to leave. The 90 days are always 90 days in the last 180. So if you spend here the full 90 days, then you need to leave for full 90 days. But if you, for example, spend here only 45 days, then you can leave, and then you can come back again for 45 days. Because in the period of last 180, you've only spent here 45 days. So you can come for another 45. But if most people just come here and spend here the full 90 days, but in that case, you need to leave for another full 90 days before you can return. One of the common mistakes about the 90 days visa-free stay rule is that you can just leave the Schengen space for one day and then come back for another 90 days. It doesn't work like that in Schengen space. It does work like that in some Asian countries, for example, that you can do it this way, and you can basically stay there forever as long as you leave for one day every 90 days. But it doesn't work like that in Schengen. If you spend here 90 days, then you need to leave for another 90 days. Okay, so another kind of like misconception about the 90 days visa-free stay is that if you apply for your visa, for example, you're an American, you come here to teach English, you use your 90 days to enter the Schengen space, you find your apartment, you get some contracts, all this, and then you apply for your visa in the Schengen space, that the common misconception is that it gives you the right to overstay the 90 days. Unfortunately, that's not like that. The fact that you applied for a long-term visa doesn't allow you to overstay the 90 days. You should still leave when your 90 days are up and wait for the visa approval outside of Schengen space. So obviously it would be good to leave a bit earlier than 90 days, so like 85 or something, so you still have a couple days left so you can come back and collect your visa. In real life, it though works the way that if you at least apply for the visa during the 90 days and you don't leave, no one really cares. It's officially illegal. You should not be doing that officially. And that's what I have to say officially as a visa advisor. But in real life, 90% of people just overstay. And even though it's illegal, it's basically safe, because as long as you stay low and as long as you don't create any trouble, as long as you don't encounter the police or something, or don't travel too much, then you're basically safe, because there is no like automated system which would flag you somewhere in France. Hey, this guy entered 90 days ago and haven't left, and find him and deport him. No, it's nothing like that. So kind of technically it's illegal, but most people just overstay the 90 days, and in most cases it's okay. But what I must say is that if the foreign police finds out that you've been overstaying the 90 days, and they can deport you, and they can even ban you from coming back for 90 days or half a year or a year. So it's up to you if you want to overstay and risk the deportation, which is a very low risk, but there is some, or if you just leave and stay safe. So that's how it is. Okay, so another thing is that another misconception about the 90 days rule, the visa-free stay in Schengen, is that once you apply for your visa, you can get something called bridge visa to overstay, to basically make you legal until the visa is approved. It works like this if you already have a long-term visa. So if you're already in the Czech Republic and you're applying for extension, or if you're applying for a long-term residence permit, then yes, you will get a bridging visa and you're allowed to stay and keep working or keep studying or whatever is your purpose of stay. But if you're applying for your first visa, unfortunately, it doesn't allow you to overstay. The fact that you applied for the visa doesn't allow you to get a bridging visa and overstay the 90 days. You still need to leave the Schengen space officially, unless you decide to overstay illegally, as I explained before. Okay, so that was it, guys. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'll be happy to answer, because then I will get to the second part, and that's like submitting the actual application, where you can do that, what kind of embassies, and how it all works. So I'll get to it in a second, unless you have some questions. And I'll just go through the notes real quick if I haven't forgotten anything. 90 days. Yeah, okay. Obviously, the 90 days, the visa-free stay, is only meant for tourist stays. So you should not be making any money. Obviously, again, because I'm here to tell you how it works in real life. So obviously, everyone works, and usually it works like this for English teachers, and usually you get paid under the table, or you don't get paid and you only invoice everything, all your work, once you get your visa approved. But officially you should not be working. Officially you should be only using the 90 days visa-free stay as a tourist. If you want to work here, run business, or do something else, you should always get a short-term visa with that specific purpose of stay. So that was the main thing. So that's it. I might shoot some video about just the misconceptions, because there are a couple of them. But now, if you don't have any questions, Niraj, thank you very much for joining. If you don't have any questions, I'll go to the second part of the live stream today, which is where you can submit your applications. So generally, it works the way that you can only... Okay. So one question on Facebook, just a second, and another question on TikTok. So guys, please go ahead, and then I'll get to the second topic. So Niraj, if someone wants to come here in Czech Republic for the run a business, for what is the process? Okay, so in that case, that's a bit complicated, and it depends on the country where they are from. Because, for example, if we say an example, India. In India, there are quotas for how many people can apply for the business visa every year. And basically, the effective quota in India is 12 people a year. So 12 Indians can apply every year for a business visa. So if you're an Indian and you want to run business in the Czech Republic and get a visa like that, don't even think about it. Or you can, of course, but you will be competing with the whole of India for 12 spots a year. So one spot a month. So it's basically like not impossible, but very low chances. If you're from some other country, if you're an American, for example, and you want to come to teach English to the Czech Republic, that's, on the other hand, very simple process, and it's what we deal with on daily basis. So that's kind of simple. If you're something in between, it's up to a discussion on how to do it in the best way, so you have the highest chances. But it very much depends on your nationality and what's your business plan, because you always need to have a very good business plan, or like you need to be able to prove that you really need to be in the Czech Republic to run the business. Okay, so hopefully this was good enough. I definitely shot a video about the business visa before, and I had a live stream about it for sure. So if you go to my YouTube, or even in the group on Facebook, the Expats in CZE help and support group, then you will find the recording of the live stream there, and I discussed this in details. And we also have a blog post about it on our website, movetoprague.com. So if you just remind me, I'll be happy to send you all the resources. But generally, it's like this. So another question on TikTok, I'll answer that, and then another on YouTube. So just a second, guys. So Rafa, Rafa, I have a question. Is the Ministry of Interior accepting digital signatures for an extension of the visa? If the confirmation of employment, or do they require hand signature and stamp? Well, that's a good question. In theory, they accept it, but in real life, they don't. Because especially if you do half, you submit half of the documents in real, like physical copies and in with normal signatures, and then you submit some documents electronically signed to their data box, they will get very confused, because it's not about the ministry not accepting that. The ministry accepts that generally, but it's always about the concrete person who's making the decision and about how much they're experienced with digital signatures and data boxes and everything. And from our experience, if you send something digitally via data box and digital signatures, it only complicates things. So if you can send it in physical form, it's definitely better and safer, and it will be easier for everyone. But if you want to send it via digital, with digital signature or via data box or some official electronic form, you can technically do that, but be prepared to face consequences. Unfortunately, it's like that. And thank you a lot for doing this. My pleasure. I'm happy I'm helpful. Another question here, I'll get to you just in a second. And here, Zippo, can I contact you regarding for visas help, of course, paid help, on your business address, or to do it via the website? Of course, get to our website, movetoprague.com, and fill in any of the million of the forms we have there, and we'll be happy to get in touch and answer and help you. That's the easiest way. Just go to our website, movetoprague.com, and that's it. So permanent residency. Okay, I'll answer that in a second. What type of visa can we apply from India? Okay, I'll answer that later as well. So guys, stay with me. So please, the buying house and getting permanent residency, I'll answer it at the end of the live stream, because I still have one topic to discuss. And here is Bhumika Sharma also has a question about what type of visa. So I'll answer that at the end of the live stream as well. So guys, stay with me. I have just one quick topic to cover, and at the end I'll do all the answers to your questions. Okay. So now the second part, or the second topic of today's live stream, is applying for the visa. So where you can apply. Generally, it works the way that you can only apply at the Czech embassy. For the first visa, you always need to apply through a Czech embassy. In most cases, you cannot do it at the territory of the Czech Republic. There are some exceptions, like, for example, EU blue card. If you have a blue card in some other EU country, you can apply for a blue card in the Czech Republic. You don't have to go through the embassy. But generally, it works the way that for your first application, you need to go through a Czech embassy. And generally, in the country of your origin, or in the country where you hold a long-term residence permit or a permanent residence permit. So again, an example, we have plenty of Indian clients. So I usually use, and in India, everything is complicated. So I usually use the Indian case. So hopefully no other nationalities are offended or something. But let's say if you're an Indian and you want to apply for a Czech visa, you can only do it in India. And that's basically impossible, because there are some quotas and it's very difficult to get an appointment there. But if you're, for example, an Indian and you have a long-term residence permit in Saudi Arabia, then you can choose, and you can either apply for a Czech visa at the Czech embassy in India or at the Czech embassy in Saudi Arabia. So this is how it works in general, that you can either apply in the country of your origin or in the country where you hold a long-term or permanent residence permit. But again, there are some exceptions. There is a list of countries whose citizens can apply for their first visa or residence permit for the Czech Republic through any Czech embassy in the world. And now I'll go through the list of countries. That's shorter than the previous one, so don't worry. So first, okay, let's go here. So the list of countries whose citizens can apply for a Czech visa through any Czech embassy in the world. That's Albania, Andorra, Antigua and Barbuda, Argentina, Australia, Bahamas, Barbados, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Brazil, Brunei, Montenegro, Guatemala, Honduras, Hong Kong, Chile, Croatia, Israel, Japan, South Korea, Canada, Costa Rica, Macau, Malaysia, Mauritius, Mexico, Monaco, Nicaragua, New Zealand, Panama, Paraguay, Salvador, San Marino, Northern Macedonia, Seychelles, Singapore, United States of America, Serbia, St. Christopher and Nevis, send someone. I don't know this country. I'm sorry. I don't know how it's in English. I only have it in Czech. Taiwan, Uruguay, Great Britain, and Venezuela. So these are the countries whose citizens can apply for a Czech visa through any Czech embassy in the world, and who don't need to stick to the rule of applying only in the country of their origin or in the country where they hold a long-term or permanent residence permit. Yeah, so that was basically it. So that was the second topic. So hopefully this was useful to you as well. And now I'll get back to the questions you had. I see that you who asked the question on TikTok, I guess you already left because I don't see your head up there. So I'll start with the other questions and maybe we'll come back meanwhile. So Trinity, can someone come with visit visa and stay for good? No, not really. Unfortunately, it doesn't work like that. You cannot come to the Czech Republic using a short-term visa and then just convert it into a long-term visa. As mentioned, there are some exceptions when something like this is possible. For example, if you had a family member from the Czech Republic or as an EU citizen. So let's say you're from, I don't know, India, and you have a Czech partner. So you could come on a short-term visa to visit your partner and then apply for a partnership visa in the Czech Republic. So that's possible, but that's kind of one of the few exceptions when you can do that. In all other cases, you just cannot convert a short-term visa to a long-term visa, unfortunately. You always need to, you can come under a short-term visa, you can sort out some things, find accommodation, get some contracts, get a job, but then you need to leave and you need to apply for a long-term visa or long-term residence permit through a Czech embassy again. Okay. So hopefully that was good enough answer. So Bhumika Sharma, hi Jan, what type of visa can we apply from India if we get an offer letter from one of the IT companies in Czech? And what are the required if company cannot sponsor us? Also, can we apply for a job while being on a family reunification visa? Woo, that will be a long answer. Okay, so let's divide it into couple parts. What type of visa can we apply for from India if we get an offer letter from one of the IT companies in the Czech Republic? So if you get a job offer from a Czech company and you're in India, you could in theory apply for an employee card or a blue card. An employee card, unfortunately, there are quotas at the Czech embassy in India, how many people can apply yearly for employee cards, and the quota is very low. And there are some other rules. So if you basically just get an offer for an employment, basically the chance that you will get a visa this way is very low. The only exception would be if your employer was registered in a special program for employers. There are special programs like highly qualified employees or qualified employees, or like there is one more like highly skilled workers category. And if your employer is registered in one of the programs, then yes, you can get a priority appointment at the Czech embassy and you can apply for the employee card through the program. But if your employer is not registered in the program, basically there is no very little chance that you will ever get an appointment, at least at the embassy. So the other option would be applying for a blue card. There is no limitation for blue cards. So if your company is willing to support you in the process and offer you a job suitable for a blue card, then you will definitely be able to get an appointment and get the blue card, because blue card is something pretty strong, like very strong type of residence permit in the Czech Republic. So that would be a good way. And also blue card was one of the few applications which were allowed through the whole stupidity of COVID. So even if all the other applications were not allowed at embassies, blue cards were. So blue card would be a good way, but for the blue card, if you want to qualify for the blue card, you need to have at least bachelor's degree, and your job, your salary must be at least, at this point, 54,000 crowns a month. It will increase next year. There is a calculation for that. It must be at least 1.5 of the average salary of the Czech Republic for that particular year. So for this year, it would be 54,000 crowns, will increase next year. So if you meet these conditions, so bachelor's degree and at least say 55,000 crowns gross salary monthly, then you can apply for a blue card, and that's easy. If not, then the employee card would be pretty complicated. Then maybe related to the job, if you can work under a family reunification visa, There are some rules for that, and I made some videos about that. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, please follow me on TikTok. You find me there as Jan_Kalina, I believe. And I shot a special video just about like who can work and who cannot work. Because if you have the long-term visa as a family reunification, you cannot work. But if you have the long-term residence permit, you can work under some conditions. So please go to my TikTok and you find it there, or just get in touch and I'll send you the link. Or I also have the recording of the full live stream on YouTube. So also go to my YouTube and subscribe there, and you can find exactly this information there. I did a video about that. And okay, hopefully that was good enough. Also, how can we convert our family reunification to an employee card permanent if we get an offer letter? Yeah, that's kind of simple. If you're already here, if you have the family reunification visa or residence permit and you want to switch to an employee card, you get a job offer from some company, that's kind of easy. You just need to collect all the documents, go to the Ministry of the Interior responsible for the place where you live, submit the documents, and then wait. Once they approve it, you can switch. And it's kind of simple process because you don't need to deal with any embassies. You can do it in the Czech Republic. And I did another video and another live stream about employee cards process, including all the documents and everything. So please also go to that videos. And if you have any questions or if you need any help with that, of course, contact us directly and we'll be happy to help. So Miraj, can we apply for blue card without company? I mean, if company can't sponsor, we can file it individually. No. Unfortunately, you cannot. You always, if you want to apply for an employee card or for a blue card, you always need to have a special offer from the company, and they need to be willing to help you with that. So unfortunately, only in case you, for example, finished a Czech university, you have a Czech diploma, then you can kind of work around the rules. But if you don't have a Czech education, Czech diploma, then unfortunately, you always need support from your employer to apply either for the employee card or for the blue card. Bhumika, thanks a lot. I will get in touch with you soon. Thank you very much. We'll be happy to help. So now back to some of the other questions. So I'll reply to this one, even though this user probably left already. So if I buy a house in Czech, can I get permanent residency? Well, no. That's a simple answer to that. There are some types of, no, in some countries, for example, in Spain, it works the way that if you buy a property above some limit, I don't know, 150,000 euros or something like that, that you automatically are granted residence permit in that country. Czech Republic doesn't offer anything like that. So even if you buy 10 houses in the Czech Republic, it doesn't automatically grant you a right to get a visa or residence permit. Of course, it can make it a bit easier. For example, you don't need to deal with the proof of accommodation thing. You don't need to find a lease and like sign it and all this. And maybe you can use it as a proof of your business here. If you buy 10 apartments and you sublet them or you use them for Airbnb, it can be a good base for you getting the business visa. But just the simple fact that you bought an apartment in the Czech Republic doesn't automatically grant you a right to get a visa or get a residence permit. Can make it a bit easier, but it doesn't make a difference. Okay, if great-grandfather is Czech, but nobody from direct descendant requested says passport. Great-grandfather, I believe that's too far already. You could try, but we've done a couple citizenships, but we mainly deal with Czech citizenship after long enough of living here. Because if you live in the Czech Republic for at least 10 years, legally and like consecutively, so no gaps in between visas, then you can get a Czech citizenship. And we've done a couple applications like that, but that's only after living here long enough. For the descent, we haven't done that many, so we don't have much experience with that. But when I was talking to the people at the ministry responsible for that, I believe they told me that it can be your parents or your grandparents. But great-grandparents, I'm afraid that it doesn't work anymore. You can still try, but I would not hope much there. Okay, let's see if we have some other questions. I don't know how to. Okay, here we go. Yeah, guys. So if you have any questions, any more questions, let me know. Ask now. I'll be happy to answer them. If you don't have any, I'll be finishing the live stream soon. Could I apply for a passport? Okay. Yeah, as I explained, you can do it. You need to meet one of the two conditions. Either you must have a permanent residency for at least 5 years. In some cases, you can get a permanent residency after 2 years. So basically, after 7 years of living in the Czech Republic, you can apply for Czech citizenship. But in general, it works the way that you can apply after 10 years of living in the Czech Republic. So if you've been living here long enough, then you can apply for Czech citizenship. But the process is kind of complicated. It's like many documents, and you need to prove that you are integrated enough into the society and everything. So if you need any help with that, and if you've been here long enough, get in touch. We'll be happy to help. I believe I did a video about that topic as well, so you can refer to that as well on my YouTube or Facebook or TikTok. Or we also have an article about obtaining Czech citizenship, 3 ways to obtain Czech citizenship on our blog at movetoprague.com. How hard questions will ask for permanent car? For permanent residency, there are no questions, basically. Like, yes, if you're a third country national, let's say Indian, again, you've been here under the employee card or something for 5 years, and you apply for a permanent residency, there are no questions. There is no like interview or anything like that. If you submit all the documents and you need to speak enough Czech, so it's at least A2 level of Czech, in that case, you can get a permanent residency kind of easily, and no questions asked. If you are applying for a permanent residency as a family member of an EU citizen, meaning that you are Indian, but you have a Czech partner, for example, and you have the partnership visa, then when you're applying for a permanent residency, they can invite you for an interview, and they would question you and your partner separately to prove that you are a real couple and that you're not faking the application. So in that case, yes, there are many questions, and that would be another topic, which maybe I can do a video about as well. So that would be pretty tough. But for a normal permanent residency, no questions asked usually. If you submit all the paperwork they need, that's usually enough. Okay, guys. Any more questions? Because I planned this. I chose like simple topics, like 90 days and like where can you apply? I thought I would be done in 10 minutes, but it's again like 25 minutes already or half an hour, which is great. And I thank you for that. So ask questions if you have some more. I'll be happy to answer them. But then I'll need to leave because I have some more appointments after the live streams. So Bhumika, Sharma, one more question. How easy is it to get family reunification done if your partner is recently started working in Czech on an employee card and has a residence permit? What all is required for filing it? If you mean that both of you are non-EU citizen, so let's say again, you're both Indians and your partner, it must be spouse. It cannot be just your partner. If you're both non-EU citizens, you need to be married. So if you, for example, you're both Indians, but you are not married, you are only dating, then unfortunately you cannot really get a visa based on your relationship. But if you're married, let's say you're both non-EU citizens, you're both Indians, your spouse, your husband or wife came to the Czech Republic, got the employee card, and you want to join, that's actually pretty simple. Like the paperwork is not too complicated, it's not too much. And I had a video about that as well, with all the requirements and documents and all this. So it's kind of simple. The only problem, let's say in India, would be getting an appointment, because that's tough. And we tried this month for some of our clients, and unfortunately we didn't get any appointment because they were gone. All of the appointments were gone in 30 seconds. You need to send an email on a specific date, specific time. It was like every second Wednesday at 2 o'clock Indian time, so 9:30 in the Czech Republic. And we send it exactly on that minute, exactly on that time. And all the appointments were already gone. So it's very difficult to get an appointment. But once you get an appointment, it's pretty simple to get the visa. So there is no problem with that. You can apply anytime. You could have applied both at the same time as well. So your partner or your spouse for an employee card and you for the family reunification visa. That's easy. Sorry, I'm running low on battery, so I just disconnected for a second. Sorry. So hopefully this was good enough answer. If you wish, go to our website, movetoprague.com, to the blog section, and we have articles about that. And I have live streams and videos about that as well on my YouTube and on my TikTok as well. Okay, and here, thank you, sir. Love from Nepal. Love to Nepal as well from Prague. Like Christmas Christmas Prague already here. Okay, guys, thank you very much for joining this time as well. I really appreciate it, and it really shows me great support that many of you join and many of you follow me every time I go live, which is every Monday and every Thursday. I always do live streams about different topics related to immigration. So thank you very much for joining, and I'll keep doing that. And I'll keep doing that further. So if you have any questions, please feel free to join me. Feel free to, or please follow me everywhere on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook. I'm everywhere, and I'll be very grateful for that. And also, if you're interested in more, like less immigration topics and more like life in the Czech Republic topics, like for example, how it is with racism and how it is with women's rights in the Czech Republic and topics like that, I recommend you to go to the channel of Daria, who is the co-owner of Move to Prague and co-founder of Move to Prague. She does topics like that, especially on her TikTok. She discusses topics like that, and it's kind of difficult for me to hear sometimes because it shows that Czechs are still not really like, how to say, delicately, not really open to foreigners. So that's another aspect of living in the Czech Republic. So if you're interested not only in the visa part or the immigration part, but also in the topics of like the daily life in the Czech Republic and struggling with racism and women's rights and all this, then also follow Daria Somova on TikTok and YouTube, no, but Instagram. She's pretty good on Instagram and TikTok as well. Okay, so guys, thank you very much again. I'll be finishing the live stream. See you Monday. And if you have any topics you would like me to talk about, please go to my expats in CZ help and support group on Facebook and share it there, and I'll be happy to shoot videos about those topics. Thank you very much, guys. Rafa, dobrou noc, good night, and see you next time, and thank you very much for following. Thank you, guys. Bye-bye. And YouTube is the last. So you stayed the longest. So thank you very much for your support, guys. Thank you. Bye-bye.